Good evening, hello and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. Each Indian holds a special place in her heart for the tricolour. Each time the Tiranga is unfurled, a strong emotion perhaps chokes all of us. So when the government announced the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign and asked all citizens to unfurl the tricolour as we commemorate 75 years of India's independence, one would imagine this would be beyond politics. Guess what? That's not the case. The Congress party has objected to the import of Chinese-made Indian flags or the use of Chinese polyester. You have the likes of Mehbooba Mufti who have taken a jibe at the government and posted a picture with the flag of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir along with the tricolour. The occasion of India's 75 years of independence is not without its partisan politics. Will this discourse by the opposition once again put them in a catch-22 situation as they try and corner the government? Will this once again become an occasion where nationalism shall become a contested territory between the opposition and the government? First up, a special report.
Ahead of India's 75th Independence Day, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu flagged off a mega Tiranga rally at Red Fort. The rally was attended by several ministers and BJP MPs. But conspicuous in their absence were opposition MPs who decided to skip the rally, calling it BJP's agenda.
हर घर तिरंगा देश भर में अभियान चल रहा है। लाल किला से तमाम जो सांसद हैं वो यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, इकट्ठा हैं। बाइक रैली में वो अपनी हिस्सेदारी, अपनी भागीदारी दे रहे हैं।
हम लोग अपना अपना मनाएंगे, ये बीजेपी का अपना पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा कैसे लेंगे?
चिट्ठी सबको लिखी, उनको बुलाया गया, लेकिन उसके बावजूद अगर नहीं आए तो मैं चाहता हूँ ये उनका नुकसान है, लेकिन देश तो आगे बढ़ेगा।
The rally is in keeping with the centre's bid to promote its Har Ghar Tiranga campaign, where it has urged people to hoist the tricolour in their homes between the 13th and the 15th of August.
मैसेज बहुत स्पष्ट है कि हर घर में तिरंगा हो। तिरंगा तो हम सबकी आन बान और शान है, उसमें पार्टी का और इन सब चीजों के कोई मायने नहीं है।
Prime Minister Modi also changed his display picture on his social media accounts to the tricolour in order to celebrate the national flag. But some opposition leaders went a different way. Like Congress MP Rahul Gandhi, he changed his display picture to one of his great-grandfather and India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, holding the tricolour. Or PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti, whose display picture is of her late father, Mufti Muhammad Saeed, and Prime Minister Modi with the national flag and the now de-recognised flag of Jammu and Kashmir. But the question is, why play politics over a symbol of national pride?
Well, is this politics really warranted? Does it really have place in today's politics and discourse? Joining us on the broadcast is our guest, Neeti Jain, who's the spokesperson of BJP, is with us on the broadcast. We also have Mr. Najmul Saqib, who's a spokesperson of the PDP. We also have Rishi Bagri, who's a political analyst, and we also have Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, who's the spokesperson of the Congress Party. Thank you all for joining us on the broadcast. Anuma, I want to come to you first. This entire politics around the use of Chinese-made flags or the use of polyester, is it really warranted at an occasion when we are celebrating 75 years of India's independence? I mean, did we really need partisan politics on an occasion like this?
Anusha, we are simply boycotting the politicization of tricolour by the ruling party. This is the same party, BJP, and before that Janata Party, before that Jan Sangh, before that its parent organization RSS. Everybody knows from the beginning. From 26 January 2030, their founder member Keshav Balaram Hedgewar opposed the tricolour. Then on 22nd January 1946, when the Constitutional Assembly approved the tricolour, Madhav Sadashiv Rao Golwalkar, he said that this is you can't impose Tiranga tricolour on the Hindus of India. Then in 14 August 1947, the day our country got its freedom, within 24 hours, the RSS journal organizer, it had an article which said that tricolour is a bad omen. And
Okay.
because it
Anuma,
has
I've allowed you, I think, adequate time because there are constraints of time. That history, let us take it on the face value, and I'll take the response of the BJP spokesperson as well. But what has that got to do, ma'am, please allow me this interjection. What has that got to do after 75 years of India's independence, a debate that has been buried in the past, has no relevance as of today? Why are you using that debate for today's partisan politics? Please help me understand.
All right. Okay, Anusha, I will tell you. If BJP says that now they are making amendments and it's a matter of their earlier conduct in respect of Tiranga, they want to make a correction, we will join the Tiranga, whatever they are saying.
Just help me understand, what is the objection of the Congress party? The objection of the Congress party is the historical blunders of the political legacy of the BJP, or the use of the polyester, or the fact that this government is doing
this kind of a word? People, today when we are talking to each other, at this moment also RSS does not change, the RSS hasn't changed its DP with Tiranga. It still has that Bhagwa.
But you haven't helped me understand what exactly is the objection of the Congress party so that I can take it to BJP.
It is a pseudo-nationalism which is unnecessarily being spread. Tiranga this is the matter of our heart. It's our matter of our soul. And I, being an armed forces officer, if you are telling me that their or your or mine nationalism is more than each other, no, that's incorrect. Everybody is nationalistic.
Anumaji, I think at the outset, I want to clarify one thing. Whatever debate and discussion we indulge in, nobody is asking the proof of nationalism from the other person. All of us love our country, and all of us love our country in different ways. We are discussing politics here. Neeti Jain, you want to come in? You want to come in? There are various allegations that the Congress party has made. The Congress party has gone to your legacy, your background, and said this is some kind of sensationalism you're creating in the name of nationalism. Respond to that.
You know, all I can say, Anusha, is that the Congress is completely bereft of ideas, and in opposing Modi ji, they have come to oppose everything that stands for India as well. So if they're talking about politicization of the matter, I think it is them who is politicizing it. All Modi ji came out and said, and this is a government program where they say that let every house in this country hoist the national flag, and that is that. Anybody who comes out and opposes that needs to answer that question. I don't think the BJP needs to answer this question at all. Had it been a BJP program and Congress comes out and says that, okay, we will not join it, I get that. But it is a government program, and for everybody to hoist this national flag, and if they have a problem with that, I don't know even what to ask them of. Any opposition party, and most of them are opposing the national flag being hoisted. And that remains the issue. You're bringing in the history. Ma'am, let me not get into the history and the blunders that have been created by the Nehru-Gandhi family. And you're talking about the RSS. There is a written declaration also in 1949 where Sardar Patelji had sent a letter, and RSS had accepted the national tricolour. So I don't even know what you're talking about. You can have a selective discourse about the RSS and the BJP history, but that doesn't make it true at all. Indira Gandhi ji had written a letter to RSS saying that she accepts and she appreciates the work that has been done by RSS. After the ban, Sardar Patelji had sent a letter that the appreciation of the RSS and all of those matters. So don't quote the history selectively. And if you leave the history right now and just go ahead with the program that has been created and have some pride. See, the point is that the generation that had fought the fight of independence is almost gone. How do we bring in that level of patriotism in the next generation? We need to have some creative ideas floating in, and this is just one of those creative ideas. Let our younger generation be more interested and be more patriotic, and that is just about that.
Or the avenues to express your love for the country. Is it about that? Exactly. I want to bring in other panelists as well. Najmu Saqib, I want you to come into the debate. There's a tweet that came out from Mehbooba Mufti as well, the statement, and she changed her display picture. You had the flag of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir and the tricolour. I have the same question. This is an occasion to celebrate the national unity. Why bring in partisan politics?
But it's you were earlier asking Congress panelists like what is wrong with this whole debate. I think let me answer it in a different context. The problem is not with the flag. The problem is the appropriation of the freedom struggle, right? You know, today those people who were writing apology letters to to colonial rulers at that time are asking the people who fought for independence to show their nationalism, right? They are trying to appropriate the freedom movement of India in...
How? Help me understand how. Help me understand how. Help me understand how. Yes.
I'll come to that. Let me come to that. So those people, right, who killed father of nation in 47 and who did not unfurl their flag.
I think these are historically controversial statements. Look, I have no problem. This is freedom of expression in this country. You can come and say whatever you want to. But my request to you is to restrict. It is restricting to the topic. Please, that's my request, Najmo.
Yeah, I am. See, if you want me to speak, it's okay. If you don't want me to speak, I can go out of the program.
I want you to speak, and I'm requesting you to please put your point of view.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing. If you allow me, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Those people who killed the father of the nation, those people who were aligned with the British, fought the tribal invasion. No one from their side came in defense of Kashmir. Today they are asking Kashmiris to prove their patriotism. Let's put it in context.
Najmo, now I let you speak. Now you answer one of my questions. No, Najmo, you answer one question. You answer one question. If the government starts a program and says, let's all come together and hoist the national flag, and I want to do it in my balcony, I want to do it in my house, and each Indian wants to do it, how are you appropriating nationalism? How is the government implementing or imposing nationalism on you? This is completely voluntary, isn't it? This is voluntary, isn't it?
The answer is Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. They had nothing to do with Azadi, right? They're born out of the colonial ruler. Their whole policy is divide and rule.
They are the elected government of the day, Najmo, whether you like it or you don't like it. My job is not to defend any political party here. But just to give some context, this is the elected government of the day that you're talking about. That's all I want to say.
No, I'm talking about RSS.
No, but you're also talking about the BJP and their political legacy. You just said
forefathers who shot father of the nation, who did not unfurl the flag.
I want to move to Rishi Babri as well.
I have one point to make about Kashmir. The same constitution of India, which gave this flag to this country, also gave us the flag of Jammu and Kashmir. If BJP does not have a problem in Karnataka where they unfurl the flag of Karnataka on Karnataka Rajyotsava, they have a problem with the flag of Jammu and Kashmir. Why? Because we are only Muslims, right? And the same flag was given to us by the Union of India.
Are you really comparing the state of Karnataka and the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir?
All I'm saying is in 35A for the freedom protection of the land.
35A, 370, we have had lots of occasions to discuss about it. My limited point is that why do we have a debate on something as basic as nationalism? I fail to understand. I am not in the favor of anybody imposing nationalism on any other person, but this is completely voluntary. Rishi, do you want to come in? When you see this partisan politics happening in this country, what are your thoughts?
I just want to go back to the point about Godse he was talking about. Now, you need to understand Godse left RSS in 1934. And Jinnah left Congress in 1920. If RSS is responsible for the Gandhi killing, then by the same logic, Congress is responsible for this brutal partition of our country, which left millions of deaths. I mean, you need to understand in the perspective. And this morning, I mean, the MP took a Tiranga bike rally from the historic Red Fort, and the vice president flagged it. It's not some political leader. Vice president is about the party politics. He has flagged off the rally, but no opposition MP, chose to participate. I simply don't understand. I mean, hosting a basic national flag, why you are making it a political thing? I mean, why you are making it a political brickbats and bickering out of it? I mean, these are something with the sacrosanct political. These are the political emblems of our country. The political flag is as good as sacrosanct. It is above the party line.
I
simply don't understand why they are doing it.
Anuma, I want to come back to you. When Niti was talking, you had few points to make, and I also want to ask the point that Rishi made, that if history were to be dug in, there are various questions that BJP would want to ask. There are various questions that many other people would have.
BJP has nothing to ask. They were collaborators.
One more thing. Let me go to Anuma.
They were collaborators with British. What will they ask?
Let me go to Anuma. I'll come to you, Najmo, and you will have the opportunity to say what you want to. Please go ahead, Anuma.
Anusha, we have come here by invite by your channel, so that please do not interrupt every 20 seconds to me and just leave them uninterrupted.
Yes, ma'am, you will have your uninterrupted time to answer the question. Please go ahead.
another one is a troll who trolls people on the Twitter anyway. But I must tell you what is our problem is. One is the government is changing the code of national flag. Why it has been given to private industries, the polyester, which initially you brought out this point, and you know this is the basic point. Why the government is not allowed Karnataka Khadi Gramodyog Sanyukta Sangh for making these things, and for that why they have not built up their capabilities beforehand. Why it was given to 5 companies, which was the private companies of Surat. This is a polyester thing. They have changed the code of conduct because they don't have any respect for anybody. Mr. Amit Shah very recently, the last 3-4 years, he has said Gandhiji was a Chatur Baniya. So this is what is the respect for our national assets, nationalistic people, our freedom fighters, and about flag also. So Congress party is opposing that. And the Karnataka Khadi Gramodyog Sanyukta Sangha has gone for a success.
Anima, I'm very sorry I have to interrupt you there, not because I'm going to other panels, but there's some breaking news which is coming in. Shifting our focus to this is the first reaction of the Congress party after the office of the young Indian is sealed by the Enforcement Directorate. Mallikarjun Kharge threatens a revolt. He has warned of consequences. That's the word really coming in. We'll try and play out those reactions for you. My colleague Arun Dhata is also with us on the broadcast. He's been tracking all the developments from the National Herald House. Now, you'd remember that there have been raids that the Enforcement Directorate has been conducting at the House. Yesterday, we also saw the Congress party workers really come out and oppose these kind of raids which are happening. And today, the 4th floor has been sealed. Arun is with us on the broadcast. Arun, tell us what's happening.
Well, that's right. I'm outside the Herald House here at the ITO. Right behind me is the building which has the Young Indians office, which has been sealed by the Enforcement Directorate today. So this is the 5-floor building of Herald House, in which on the 4th floor Young Indians office is located, which has been sealed by the Enforcement Directorate officials. They've come in at around in the noon, and they have pasted a notice both at the ground floor and also on the 4th floor that nobody can work or nobody can go inside the 4th floor's office of Young Indians without the permission of Enforcement Directorate. We are told from our sources that today Enforcement Directorate was also planning to conduct few searches, but there was nobody present in the office of Young Indians here at the ITU on the 4th floor, and therefore they had to seal this 4th floor, the office of Young Indians, and therefore further notice has been pasted both on the 4th floor and on the ground floor that without the permission of the Enforcement Directorate officials, nobody can go inside. So this is happening in the backdrop of what happened yesterday, the raids being conducted by the ED, not only here in the headquarters of National Herald office, but also 10 other locations. So today, the office has been sealed. Even yesterday in the evening, right after the raids, we had seen the Congress workers gathered here. Mallikarjun Kharge, along with other senior leaders, were also present here. But today, nobody, actually allowing anybody to go beyond this point. Earlier, we were inside the 1st floor, but now nobody is allowing anyone to go inside the building. Remember, this building also has the Indian Passport Office as well. So at this juncture, the gate is closed. Only those people who have certain work or some documents with them, they are allowed to go inside. Otherwise, the gate is closed.
Arun, I want you to stay with us on the broadcast. I'll come back to you. But I want to play out that reaction that we've got from Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge. Let's play that out.
उसको रूल्स है, रेगुलेशंस है. ऐसा नहीं कि उनके घर पे मारो, इनके घर पे मारो, फिर नेशनल हेराल्ड पे फिर एक बार बुलाओ. ये कितनी जल्दी से वो काम कर रहे हैं. इससे ही अंदाजा लगता है ना. 6 दिन पहले बुलाए, इमीडिएटली नेशनल हेराल्ड पे डाले. कल परसों नेशनल हेराल्ड में हुआ, आज उनके मकान पे गए हैं. इसका मतलब क्या है? राहुल गांधी जी भी यहाँ नहीं है, उन्होंने तो पब्लिक मीटिंग में गए हैं. तो ये लोगों को एक डर पैदा करने के लिए, और ऐसा तुम लोगों को डराते गए तो लोग डरेंगे नहीं और एक रिवोल्ट हो जाएंगे।
My colleague Ashish Maharshi is also with us on the broadcast. Ashish tracks the Enforcement Directorate and other agencies for us. He'll be able to give us more perspective about what next to follow in this investigation. Ashish, one thing is abundantly clear, that the Enforcement Directorate has intensified the investigation. Whether it was about multiple rounds of summoning for Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, or it was the raids that were conducted at the National Herald House, or right now when the house has been sealed, what lies ahead?
So here, basically, the Enforcement Directorate had to complete their searches. Now, one has to realize the fact that obviously it's a political twist to the entire story, because we all know that the Young Indian, the company which took over National Herald or the Associated Journal, basically is owned by Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, and they hold the major equity as well, around 76%. But then there is a process of law which needs to be completed. Here, the process of law is that the searches, if there is an accommodation or an area that needs to be searched, then and there is a search warrant for that location, then the searches have to be completed.
से निकला हूं, मीटिंग नहीं।
का स्टेटमेंट आया है कि जो सर्च ऑफिसर थे मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे, उन्होंने सर्च नहीं कराई, इसलिए हमने ऑफिस सील किया है। जब सर्च ऑफिसर आप इंचार्ज थे तो आपने हेरल्ड के ऑफिस को सर्च करने से मना किया, ईडी के SIT?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
ऐसा कुछ नहीं। तो यहाँ पे मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे आप देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से
Mallikarjun Kharge, the leader of opposition and a senior Congress leader. I'm going once again back to my colleague Ashish Maharshi. Yes, Ashish, please go ahead.
So, the location, since there was a search warrant for Young Indian, so here the search needs to be completed. Here, the office of Young Indian, which was supposed to be searched because there was a search warrant for that location, there was nobody at the premises when the team of Enforcement Directorate came there. So here, the principal officer for the organization, that is Mallikarjuna Kharge, he has been asked to join investigation, and he has also been asked that in his presence, the Enforcement Directorate would like to complete the search operation. This is the only thing. So if somebody is saying that the Herald House has been sealed, no, it has not been sealed. Yeah. Even the Young Indian office has not been sealed. Okay. All they have, the Enforcement Directorate has said that this premises cannot be open until and unless the officer, the concerned officer, and in this case, Kuldeep Singh, if you see, it's openly on the order as well. Kuldeep Singh is the investigating officer. He has just said that the premises cannot be opened until and unless informed to the concerned officer. So it's not sealed. It is basically that the premises need to be the search needs to be completed.
Ashish,
and
just stay with us for a moment. I'll come back to that point. I just want to reiterate that on the screens that our viewers can see, those are the visuals coming in from the All India Congress Party headquarters here in the national capital. You can see there are top leaders of the Congress Party, including the likes of Mr. P. Chidambaram, who have reached the party headquarters. Clearly, after the action of the Enforcement Directorate, the Congress Party seems to be in a huddle where multiple netas are making a beeline. There is, we have seen many times that the senior leaders have come on the streets protesting against the questioning which has been going on of Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. I'll go back to my colleague Ashish Maharshi, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Ashish, I want to focus on this point. What is the technical difference between what ED has done right now versus formal sealing of a premises? Explain that to our viewers.
So, in case there is an attachment of a property, then there is a provisional order of attachment which is prepared. And then it goes to the adjudicating authority, and then when the adjudicating authority confirms it, then it, the concerned accused or the concerned person whose property is attached, they can go to the higher court to to challenge that order of the Enforcement Directorate. Now here, it is not, the property has not been attached. There is no provisional order of attachment for Herald House. Technically, the property actually does not even belong to the Associated Journal as of now, because there is an order by the Ministry of Urban Development which says, since you do not fulfill the requirement, hence the property is being taken over. There is already an order by the Ministry of Urban Development. But having said that and keeping that aside, if we are saying that this property has been sealed, no, it is not. It has not been sealed. It has all been said that since the searches have not been completed, we need to complete the search. The principal principal officer in this case is Mallikarjuna Kharge. In his presence, the Enforcement Directorate will do its search operation and then further decide what need to be done. So once the search is not completed, they have to complete the process of law. So here the process of law needs to be completed. And we are only creating hue and cry that the property has been sealed or it has been attached or whatnot. So technically speaking, there is only an order to say that this property should not be opened until and unless the search operation is completed by the Enforcement Directorate.
I will reiterate that technical difference. There's a very important difference that Ashish Mahesh is pointing out, that there is some sort of adjudicatory process when off-premise is completely sealed by the Enforcement Directorate. In this case, what they have said, that there has to be somebody like Mr. Mallikarjuna Kharge, who was present yesterday, when the premises are open, because these are documents that the agency is looking into and they are scared that some kind of evidence might be destroyed. I want to cut across to my colleague and our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh, who's also joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, is the Congress party in a huddle?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And in fact, in a short while from now, around 7 p.m., you'll have Jairam Ramesh doing a press conference. And the press conference essentially is going to be focusing on the facts, according to the Congress party, on how the offices are being sealed, how they're being targeted, and how the entire road which leads up to the Congress headquarters and passes through that of Sonia Gandhi has completely been barricaded and it has been closed to public. See, facts aside, when it comes to politics, political parties will always try to draw some political mileage out of the situation. And here the Congress party wants to project itself as a party which is being targeted only because they ask questions of the government.
They want to see that they want to be seen as a party which is being targeted because they ask questions of the government. Pallavi, moving forward, we have seen that even earlier when there were multiple rounds of questioning, the Congress party was out on the street protesting. You had big faces which had really come out. Are we likely to see those kind of protests and dharna once again on the streets?
Well, I mean, there is a protest which is lined up on 5th August already, Anusha, and that was a pre-scheduled one, and that's supposed to be on price rise. If there is some more development which takes place tomorrow or day after, I guess the two issues will be mixed up. But certainly the Congress party has gone on the streets earlier. I think even today, one of the main reasons why the entire area of 24 Akbar Road was also cordoned off was, of course, as a precautionary measure because Parliament is in session and this is a high security zone. So I don't think the police officials wanted to take any chance.
All right, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy is also joining us on the broadcast. Not to forget that he's the original complainant in the case who has been arguing that this is a case that needs to be pursued and the Gandhis need to be booked. Mr. Swamy, thank you so much for speaking to us. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the show. The Enforcement Directorate is clearly intensifying its investigation. This complaint has been pending for a very long time. Do you think finally some action is being taken?
Yeah, I first filed it in 2014 and then I think Mr. Jaitley was not in favor of proceeding with it.
Yeah.
And then again in 2019, I got many more documents and then I filed it again. And that time they began processing it. But since the last 6 months, the ED has been active in bringing this to a closure. So this is a supplementary to my original case, which is based on the Indian Penal Code of misappropriation, criminal misappropriation, cheating, fraud, all that.
Yes.
And now it is money laundering. And that is being done by the ED because they are the ones who are expert in that and it can't be taken by me in the court. So I think we have also the income tax has done an extremely good job. And we are waiting the High Court to clear it. The income tax had won in the High Court. And so it's going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is there. And I hope that very soon that is clear. And then there is also the Urban Development Ministry, which had already seized the Herald House because they were not producing any newspapers there. And whatever so-called edition now they have started in New Year, the National Herald is being printed in the Indian Express printing press and not in Herald House. So I think it's a very open-shut case and the consequences are to be seen.
Mr. Swamy, I want you to speak on 2 points. You pointed out that you filed this complaint back in 2014 There has been a substantial amount of delay, roughly about 7 years that we have seen. The argument of the Congress party is that because there is no evidence, they've not been able to do anything, and this is merely targeting us. One more point, sir, which you might be able to elaborate upon, is that these high-profile political cases and allegations of money laundering are very easy to lodge. However, when it comes to proving, the ED does not have a great record. Will you agree?
Of course, it depends on if ED is alone doing it, they'll be very poor. But ED is, there's a lot of oversight, even if it's informal. They know that his public is very much agitated. And let me tell you all this delay that you people are constantly saying.
Yeah.
The delay was because after a conviction was given at one stage, they went to the High Court, they went to the single judge, then they went to the division bench, that is 2 judges, Supreme Court. There's nothing they have not gone to the Supreme Court. And each of these was going to take time. We, from my side, there was no delay. We were ready to go ahead on a day-to-day basis. But these accused who are Congress party leaders who took it all the way up, stage by stage. And today, for instance, the Herald House, which was taken over by the Urban Development Ministry earlier, they took it to the High Court, and High Court they lost. Now it's lying in the Supreme Court. Then there is the income tax thing. They got it cleared up, and now it is in the Supreme Court. So the delay was caused by the accused, and unfortunately, we believe that a person is innocent till proven guilty. So they get a lot of freedom to have their matter heard, and they have these adjournments and so on. So we, as far as from our side, there's been, at least from my side, there's been absolutely no delay at all.
No, not at all. Dr. Swami, please stay with us on the broadcast. My colleague Ashish Maheshri is also with us on the show, and he has a question to ask you. Ashish, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Dr. Swami, I've been following this case since you did the press conference in Constitution Club. Now, the argument by Congress is that, there are two big arguments that they have been giving. One is that it's a Section 25 company and it's like an NGO. So even if there are equity holders, they cannot derive any benefit out of it. And second point they usually make is that since the Associated Journal has not closed down, so the properties still lie with Associated Journal, and thus we have not, the person who are the shareholders, they cannot derive any benefit, or there is no transfer of property. So when there is no profit that has been derived, then where is the question of money laundering? If you can elaborate on this point, sir.
It's an absurd thing to say. We are not saying that these people are eating the money that is coming. We are saying you acquired everything by fraud. You are a company with, that is the Young Indian, a company with 5 lakh rupees total paid up capital. They managed to get a company by paying only 50 lakhs, which they get as a loan, which is dubious, which is also part of the money laundering. That is the Doltex thing. Doltex gave them 1 crore. They kept 50 lakhs in their pocket, and the Young Indian went and gave Congress Party 50 lakhs, saying your loan of 90 crores over the years, which the social journals is not able to pay back, that you please transfer it to us because it's valueless for you now because that company is closed, and so you please sell it for 50 lakhs. So 90 crore loan right which Congress Party had was given to Young Indian for 50 lakhs. Now when they go to the Congress, to the young social journals and say, you can't pay me 90 crores, so give me 9 crore shares of 10 rupees each, which was the price of the National Herald in 1937, and didn't allow any of the other shareholders to participate. So, I'm talking
Dr. Swami, but
I'm not talking about whether they're eating money or having a good time with the money.
Dr. Swami, but here, whenever there is an investigation in Prevention of Money Laundering Act, there has to be proceeds of crime. Here, what do you think proceeds of crime are? Where is the proceeds of crime?
The proceeds of crime is that they have acquired the Young Indian by fraud, and that is proceeds of the crime. A proceeds of crime doesn't necessarily mean money. And by the way, the mere fact that they are not able to, Dortex is not able to explain how they gave them 1 crore without any interest payments requirement, anything to be placed for as surety. None of these things are done. Why would you give something like that? And then
according to you, sir, these are questionable. Sir, these are questionable transactions, you can say. What is the quantum of proceeds of crime?
They are prima facie, they have been found, and that's what the investigation is about. Investigation is not about whether they are spending money out of young Indian, incomes. There's no investigation. Neither have I made any accusation. All that is that the transaction by which they got the AJL was fraudulent, and that has been prima facie proved, and it has been accepted by courts. You can't sit in a court when the court has already decided, yes, there's a prima facie case, this must be investigated. And you can't sit outside and start telling me what the court should do. If the court has given you a wrong judgment, go and appeal against it. They did appeal against it in the
I would like to understand, sir, our viewers, Dr. Swami, our viewers would like to understand where are the proceeds of crime in this, because the Congress says we have not, especially the Gandhis, have not benefited out of it.
What do you mean by this proceeds of the crime? Don't use phrases like that. You're saying that they used something to earn some money, which was a crime. That's what you mean by proceeds of crime, or that some made money and share of it. That's proceeds of crime. This is not on that. This is on fraud. It's got nothing to do with proceeds of crime. And the Prevention of Money Laundering Act shows that if in the process you have a transaction where money has been laundered, and in the case of the Dortex, it was absolutely laundering of the money, because they are not able to explain from how they gave them without surety, without interest rates, without a time factor returning it. Why did they give it? And in the budget of Dortex, they have written donation. So Congress says it is a loan. Well, it's a loan, and they are saying it's a donation. That is something that we'll have to investigate.
Thank you, Dr. Swami. Thank you so much for your explanation. Over to you.